What's going on, guys? Gomes here back again on another MLB The Show 19 Diamond Dynasty video. We actually got some brand new news about gameplay stuff that I am really excited about, and I would go as far as saying this is major changes to the gameplay, some stuff that we've not seen in quite some time, and something that I think really would help out the current state of the game. Basically, if you guys don't know, San Diego Studios was holding a live stream yesterday on Thursday. Usually they have it on Fridays if they're doing a live content update. But the content update went live on Thursday, which was yesterday, and they talked about patch 1.13 a little bit, and they did finally say that it is going to be gameplay tuning. The last couple of patches is more so like bug fixes and so on and so forth. We haven't actually seen gameplay tuning, which is of course what was so-called fix the gameplay, have you might. So like I said, they said some stuff that I'm very excited about. There's still some stuff that I think definitely needs to work on, and I'll talk about that more so at the end of the video. But what I want to hit on first is that they said that basically swings and misses are going to be more frequent. They specifically said on legend difficulty, swings and misses are going to happen a lot more often, and that's something I love to see. So of course, legend difficulty is only accessible online via World Series. That's the only time you're ever going to play on legend difficulty. So that's the very minute minority right there in World Series. There's still like a lot of people that do make World Series Division 900 rating and above, but most people are below. Even if you're at 899, you're going to be playing on Hall of Fame, which if you ask me, I think that is the perfect place that you really should be playing. I think Hall of Fame is probably the best difficulty that they really do have on. But like I said, there's going to be an increase in swings and misses, not only in legend difficulty, but also throughout online. So really the main problem with this is you guys probably noticed you would foul seemingly everything off. I could remember so many times in particular where I could have somebody with low vision, low contact, so they got a small PCI that say, here's the center of the strike zone right here. The ball's right there. My PCI is dead center. I don't move it. You can still make contact with the ball. That is just, that's bad, you know. That doesn't set up for, you know, actually a difference in, you know, difficulty, a skills gap. That just means that you're going to keep fouling them off until eventually maybe your opponent hangs ones down the middle and then you give up a hit, might be a home run, or, you know, maybe you end up walking him just because you end up throwing so many pitches, your, you know, pitcher gets tired. And that was just becoming a huge problem for those reasons where, you know, you didn't really have to necessarily even be all that close to make contact with the ball, but you would still hit it, you would still foul it off, you would still be staying alive. And it got to the point where you know, seeing a 10 pitch at bat wasn't that uncommon for me. I think the highest I ever went was like a 13 pitch at bat, which if you follow MLB baseball is rare as almighty hell. 13 pitch at bats very rarely ever happen for those reasons, you know, because something's gonna happen eventually. They're going to hang it quicker, but you know, so on and so forth. This is a video game, and obviously I realize that MLB The Show, even though they try to make it a simulation game of MLB, it's not. I think we can all agree MLB The Show is not necessarily a simulation of Major League Baseball, and that just is how it is. But I think this is going to really make big differences within the gameplay for so many reasons. Because like I said, the main problem, and I think this is one of the reasons why I started to struggle and my pitching deteriorated a little bit this year, is that, you know, strikeouts were just so difficult. You know, it's not like it was last year, don't get me wrong. If you guys remember MLB The Show 18 at launch, strikeouts were really impossible. Well, they weren't impossible, but you know, it's gotten to the point where if I struck out 3-4 batters, I'm like, damn. You know, this year it's more like 6 batters, I'm like, damn. But still, you know, I just go through my pitching stats with my pitchers, and some of my signature series pitchers like Nolan Ryan, I just don't strike out that many guys with him for those reasons. That even though, because especially a guy like Nolan Ryan, especially those guys with high hit 9, if you guys don't know, hit 9 is what counteracts the opponent's contact and what makes their PCI smaller, or I guess their contact and plate vision, and that's what's going to make their PCI smaller. So if I'm using Nolan Ryan, who has about 110 hit 9 last time I checked, something around there, very elite, above the 100, so really good hit per 9 right there. So my opponent's PCI would be small, but they don't even really have to be on it, and they're staying alive, and I'm not getting strikeouts. And I think that's the reason why I personally struggle with the Nolan Ryan, is because people keep fouling pitches off, keep fouling them off. And you guys know Nolan Ryan does not have good control, does not have good walk 9. Even a 99 signature series Nolan Ryan, it's not as bad as the 89 in the game, the special edition diamond, but it's still not that good. It is still pretty difficult to sometimes time up your pitches. Even when you are hitting your spots, it's just not going where you want it to. On those higher difficulties. And then, you know, if they keep fouling him off, keep making you throw pitches, eventually he's going to hang one, or eventually you're going to have to keep throwing to the point where you're going to walk him, and then you find yourself in trouble because he depletes stamina pretty quickly if you keep having 10 pitch at bats. And that's really the main issue, and hopefully this should be able to fix that a lot. I am very excited for patch 1.13. Ramon did say soon-ish. We've heard that so much. I don't exactly know what soon-ish means. Usually what happens is it comes like the day or the day after the stream. So maybe it's gonna come tomorrow morning on a Saturday. I kind of doubt that. I feel like if we are the closest really would be like Monday or Tuesday. I don't think they would drop a patch just like on a weekend, but you know, they could always surprise me. Then they also did mention other stuff revolving around, mainly there was a couple stadiums where home runs didn't necessarily register correctly. I think Fenway was one of them, and there was 2 other stadiums. I'm not really too sure. Nothing else really big. I think that's the main gameplay tuning that they did add. But now I still want to talk about this because I've heard this 2 damn streams in a row. Ramon keeps saying 60 fielding is average. What? 60 fielding's average my ass. If you look at a guy like Aubrey Huff, who has 60 fielding on the dot, because this whole conversation started up within the live streams where they show us the POTM cards and the monthly awards, which, you know, they have bad fielding. It's just because, you know, guys like Gleyber Torres, even though I think his defense is a little bit underrated, and then like Rafael Devers, guys like that who just have low fielding, they happen to have the best months offensively, so they get the cards, which is what it is. It's not SDS's fault. They can't tell these guys to hit better, or I mean to feel better, or some of those better defensive guys to hit better. You know, it just is what it is. You know, they can't just juice up the fielding. Otherwise, we'd be looking at 2K's my team. But no, they keep saying 60 defense is average. If you think about an average defender in the MLB, do they miss routine fly balls? Do they just muff ground balls right to them, not hard hit? No, stop. 60 is not average. In this game, average fielding, I would say, is at least 75. Maybe 70, probably 75. That's like silver defense. 60, if you're in school, that's damn near failing. You better get those grades up, my guy. 60 is not average. Stop it. I really hope they do something more to fix the fielding in this game. I don't know what it is. I was using Tony Gwynn, 92 fielding out and right. Pretty routine play. If you guys saw my gameplay on that, he drops it. 92 fielding, I don't care. Unless he's like really lunging out for that ball, which he wasn't, he should not drop that. He has diamond defense. There's no button I can press to catch the ball or to field the ball. I say this so often. There's nothing I can do except put the right guys out there. As long as I'm in the right position, which I always am, especially like those ground balls that you know get errors on, which I'll talk about in a second, don't get me wrong. But if I do my thing, if I put the right defensive players out there who have good defensive ratings, I shouldn't really have to face any repercussions, you know? If I have 92 fielding, diamond defense, Tony Gwynn out there in right field, I shouldn't be able to make errors unless it's, well, I mean, an error, even if like it's a diving play or a real lunging play, it wouldn't count as an error anyway, just because those are seen as like difficult plays in the MLB, unless it's like a, you know, just easy drop, muff, pop, fly. It doesn't count as an error for an outfielder. I shouldn't be making those errors with diamond defense. And then you look at guys like Jose Reyes. He doesn't have diamond defense, but he has 82 gold defense over at shortstop. He's made like 10 errors for me. And the problem with this is these are on routine ground balls. Once again, I reiterate, there's no button that I can press to field a ground ball. If you think about an average defender in the MLB, do they have, you know, 10 plus errors at shortstop? Probably not, especially considering I've used Jose Reyes. He has like 400 at bats, so something about the equivalent of the innings of that. No, that would mean if I played around like a full season, just thinking about in actual MLB terms, he would have around like 15 errors. for, you know, gold rated defense, which is supposed to be like a pretty good defender, 15 errors at shortstop. Stop it. That's ridiculous. I really hope that's one of the most pressing matters in my opinion. They have made strides to fix it. I have noticed a little bit of differences, but it still needs a lot of work. Defense is still not in the greatest place right now. And finally, just want to touch on hitting once again. It still seems like there are a lot of line drive outs. I think it has been getting a little bit better as time goes on. Since I think it was like patch 1.10, 1.11, something like that. It has gotten a little bit better. It's still an issue at this point. I don't necessarily expect them to have a fix for it this year, and because it's a tough thing to fix. You know, there's a couple things that you have to balance. It's not realistic to square up. If you square up the ball, it's going to be like a hard hit double, a home run every single time. That's not realistic, and I understand that, but at the same point, it gets frustrating in a video game where it is skill based, or supposed to be skill based, where if you square up the ball, it's just outs, and then your opponent can be completely under the ball and he'll just hit little Texas leaguers pop, you know, bloopers, and just dink and dunk it over my, you know, into shallow the outfield, right over my infielders' heads, and, you know, get on base like that, get hits like that. That's not exactly fair. You know, in a video game standpoint, that doesn't necessarily scream skills gap. That screams SDSBS a little bit. So I don't necessarily expect them to find a fix for that this year. I would more so look along the lines of MLB 20, just because the whole hitting engine thing, they'd have a lot to like really think about there. It's not something that you can just fix in a patch. I know a lot of people think we should just go back to the hitting engine that we had like in MLB 16, MLB 15, and ever since they introduced the ball physics in MLB 17, I don't really know the solution. I don't think it was this bad last year. I think something happened. I don't know. I still do think hitting is better than it was last year, for the simple fact that, you know, contact hitters are viable this year. That was my biggest problem with MLB 18 gameplay wise, is I just couldn't use guys like Jose Reyes, because if you don't have power, you're worthless. So in that standpoint, gameplay in MLB 19 is already better hitting wise than MLB 18, at least in my opinion. But I guess that's all I really want to talk about. Let me know down below in the comment section how you guys feel about the increased swings and misses. How do you guys feel about that? Are you a fan of it? Are you not so much of a fan of it? Let me know what problems within the gameplay do you guys still think there are, what needs to be fixed. Just let me know all your gripes, all your grapes, everything else in between. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like down below. Hope you guys have a great day. There goes out. Yay!
Love is love, and hate is hate. To die is an awesome adventure, and I can hardly wait. Earth is a prison, I need a great escape. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone. You know I'm in my zone. I took a bite of the glory.